Welcome to WatchMojo UK, and today we're counting down our picks for the top 10 X-Factor scandals.
Before we begin, we publish new content every day, so be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos.
For this list, we'll be looking at some of the most controversial moments to happen on screen and behind the scenes of the music competition. Who's the best ever talent to come from the X Factor? Let us know in the comments. Number 10. James Arthur's early issues. After winning the X Factor in 2012, the music industry was set for Arthur's debut. However, the wheels soon began to fall off his ascent as one problem after another began to pile up, such as the time he used homophobic language in a diss track towards rapper Mickey Worthless called Hey Mickey. He then began arguing with celebs such as Frankie Boyle and Matt Lucas on Twitter. There were also accusations that Arthur was engaging with explicit content with teenage fans. All of this meant that Arthur handed over his account to his management team. He then released Follow the Leader, which led to complaints that it glorified violence. So, Arthur was dropped by Simon Cowell's label, Psycho. Yikes. Number 9. Rage Against the Machine. In the early days of the X Factor, it became a tradition that the winner would end up nabbing the prestigious Christmas #1 slot in the singles chart.
Joe!
After Joe McElderry won the X Factor, the stage was set for him to follow the tradition with a cover of Miley Cyrus's The Climb. But some music fans hated that thought. So, DJ John Motor and his wife, Tracy, lobbied for Rage Against the Machine's 1993 song Killing in the Name to beat McElderry's cover. They created a Facebook campaign and even got the band on board with this plan. In the end, Rage Against the Machine broke the mold by claiming the #1 spot in 2009. Job well done. Number 8. Gary Barlow vs Talisa Kontostavlos. It always adds a bit of drama when the judges get into arguments on screen. However, in 2012, rather than the traditional shots, things got a bit awkward. After Barlow's talent, Christopher Maloney, performed, Kontostavlos took umbrage with the song choice his mentor gave the contestant.
How many of these 80s classics are you going to let him keep destroying, honestly?
Rather than defend his selection, the former Take That member decided to use personal insults. He stated,
Talisa, I don't know what's offended me more, what you've said or the fag ash breath.
Wow. He then seemed to scribble something down as though he made a note of that insult before. Talisa retorted that he should lay off the red wine as she could smell that on his breath. Later, Barlow apologised for his comment and admitted he did drink before the show. Number 7. Cheryl sacked. Looking to expand his music talent show empire, Simon Cowell decided to recreate the X Factor across the pond in the States. With the praise she had been getting for her judging in the UK, Cowell brought over Cheryl Tweedy. After just 3 weeks and a couple of auditions, she was sacked and replaced with Nicole Scherzinger. Tweedy responded with an explosive text message to Cowell. She then sued the producers of the show, Blue Orbit Production, for $2.3 million for loss of earnings from the second season. The two parties eventually settled. Cowell later regretted dropping Cheryl and said it was one of his worst mistakes. The two eventually made up and she returned to the UK show. Number 6. Frankie Kokoza. Sometimes the talent a contestant on the X Factor has is irrelevant if they have charisma, and that was certainly the case for 18-year-old Kokoza in 2011.
I love going out. I love it.
Helped by his big hair and various women's names tattooed on his derriere, his singing ability was nothing compared to the cult of personality he was slowly building. But then, suddenly, he was dropped by the show after breaking their rules. Reportedly, a crew member overheard him backstage boasting about his drug-filled love life. In interviews afterwards, Kokoza denied the accusations time and time again. However, by 2022, things changed. Kokoza admitted he was a heavy user, a recovering addict, and claimed he took illegal substances with undisclosed A-listers.
Did you think at that time, were you ready for it in your own head?
No, not a chance.
Number 5. Multiple abuse claims. Ever since the X Factor took off and began making stars, some of their alumni have come forward to accuse the show and the music business as a whole of various forms of abuse. The delightful Irish duo Jedward regularly speak their less than complimentary thoughts on Louis Walsh. They also tweeted their displeasure of the X Factor making millions off the backs of their contestants, who made next to nothing. Then, in 2021, Cheryl Lloyd uploaded a TikTok song that took shots at the management of the show for exploiting her. Rebecca Ferguson and Misha B have both spoken about the discrimination they've experienced within the music industry. In 2021, Ferguson called for Parliament to look into the bullying culture within the business. Number 4. The Emily Nakanda video. In 2007, the X Factor audience was behind one of the youngest finalists on the show, 15-year-old singer Emily Nakanda. So it came as a surprise when she was sharply dropped before the third live show. As it turns out, Nakanda had filmed a happy slapping video, and it had leaked to the press. For those unsure what that is, this is when a person records themselves on a mobile phone physically assaulting someone. Nakanda was filmed punching a girl, then putting her in a headlock and pulling her hair. The show investigated the allegations, which resulted in Nakanda withdrawing from the competition. Number 3. Sharon Osbourne versus Louis Walsh.
Did you like each other straight away?
No.
No?
No, she didn't like me at all.
Louis Walsh has dabbled in playing the villain on the X Factor. Sometimes he's the nice Irish guy that's just happy to be there. Other times he has a heel turn and makes teenagers cry at auditions. Well, in 2005, Sharon Osbourne let her wrath be known spectacularly. After Journey South performed and was waiting for the judges' comments, Walsh went on a rant about the song choice while Osbourne laughed at his thoughts. He then asked Osbourne whether she was taking her husband's, Ozzy Osbourne's, drugs. She responded by picking up a glass of water from the desk and lobbing the contents into Walsh's face.
Louis! Don't you bring my husband in!
She then tried with another glass, which Walsh blocked, and inadvertently sprayed the laptop instead. Number 2. Sharon Osbourne versus Dannii Minogue. While Osbourne and Walsh made up after their spat, eventually, she and Dannii Minogue haven't and probably won't. It was an uncomfortable period with the two judges working together, as their animosity was clear to see. They regularly told the press conflicting accounts of what happened behind the scenes between them. When on the Graham Norton show in 2007, Osbourne and the host laid into Minogue numerous times. Osbourne claimed that Minogue was only selected by Simon Cowell as a judge for her looks, not for her musical talents.
I feel bad for her because she knows she's there because of her looks, not for her musical contributions to the music industry. So she knows why she's there.
Meanwhile, Minogue wrote in her autobiography that she was crying in her dressing room after a clash with Osbourne 5 minutes before a live show. Number 1. Leon Jackson Fix. Leading up to the 2007 final, Rydian Roberts was the favourite to take the winning crown for the X Factor. Instead, Leon Jackson swept in and won. Afterwards, Ofcom received several complaints from viewers who were unable to vote for Roberts. When they rang the number, they received an engaged tone. Altogether, over 1,000 people complained. Ofcom investigated the issue and found that Jackson still would have won had those missed votes been counted. But it left the question, how many people experienced the same issue but didn't inform Ofcom? Just before this allegation, it was discovered that ITV had been overcharging X Factor voters by £200,000 during Series 3. Producers said they would donate the same amount to the charity Childline.
Do you agree with our picks? Check out this other recent clip from WatchMojo UK and be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.